Hello and welcome to this quick introduction to Handy Tools Level Creator. As you can see, you can quickly create randomization based upon the blocks you created. So let's take a close look to one of these blocks. So the idea is based around end connectors, and you can position them anywhere you want, but just to make sure your character can move everywhere you want, put it somewhere relevant. Each block has a respawn prefab, and the start blocks has a start spawn prefab. Of course, the end blocks or finish block doesn't have one, but if you want, you can do this. You can also see there's a killer prefab, and this is basically a killer object that is the same width approximately than the width of these blocks. You can change this according to the way your level is looking. This is way too random to make a script for, so you also see that we have some random sprite scripts. So this basically takes a random sprite based upon these lists. You can set the visibility, flip the X scale, do a global scale, or randomize the position based on a range here. And this is in local space, so they'll keep roughly their position. I provided some sorting layers for you, nothing too fancy. And then there's also a quick start for a sort of trap. It has a reset script. You can choose to spawn at the start, as some prefabs have a respawn, so that's up to you. And in this case, for the traps, I made an extra prefab script. This isn't perfect. As you can see, it currently has a sprite render and then pushes in a prefab. It's just to give you an idea. So I'm going to delete all of these and quickly tell you a little bit more about the settings. So we have the start blocks, the building blocks, and the finish blocks. You can set repeat blocks, and this basically means that, like in this case, you have a possibility of having the same prefab next to each other. If you unclick this, the probability will be less. The block count is exactly what it does, but on the end it will add a finished block. You don't need to do this, just simply drag another prefab here, you know. The activity range is when you press play, and I will need to have a split screen to show you. Right now the activity range is at 40, so it will look 40 units in all directions in order to set the hierarchy or inspector activity. Another useful script maybe is the random rotation. So it will take the current Z rotation and add a range to it. So it will be, for example, if it's 90, there will be 15 subtracted or added towards that current value here. It could be useful to have some blank modifications and to make sure everything is not looking exactly the same. So the minimum and maximum gap, the thing is, you can leave the minimum gap at 0 and to illustrate this very clearly, let's make a maximum gap of 20. So as you can see, there will be some variation between how far the gaps are. So pay attention to this to check how far your character will jump. You can delete the current results, and if you press play, it will automatically generate a level based on the previous settings. I also included a debug, so you can clearly see what's going on. And let's increase this number to, let's say, 50. And let's check for a repetition. So right here we have 3 of the same blocks, and when we undo this, the repetition will be gone, so it can be useful. You can create a various amount of levels with this. You can easily edit the code and play with the Z rotation of all things, and simply combine the scripts. Everything is there. It's just up to your creativity. Don't feel restricted to the block type of things. I just did this to illustrate the possibilities. You can go as wide as you can, as high, as low as you can. Just make sure that the end connectors are taken into account so that you can create at least one possible gateway for your level blocks. So these can be very large, and let's say if you create only 2, you can, each time the player goes into this part of the level, he will get a different result. So I hope you find this useful, and thank you very much. It will be available on the asset store soon, and yeah, I will update it this video with a comment when it's available. Thank you. Bye bye.